Hey, welcome back, everybody, to another segment of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. We'll be right back with this week's Wednesday Wisdom guest. But as always, we want to give a shout out to our sponsors. Now, these are all companies that I've used as an athletic director. They are all great companies, and I really encourage you to check them out. So take 3 minutes, listen to our shout outs, then listen to our Wednesday Wisdom guest, and then go and visit these sponsors. I'm telling you, you're going to be glad you did. We want to say thanks to Athletic Surveys by LifeTrack. You know, if you've never used a survey to take the pulse of your parents, your coaches, your student athletes, you're really missing out. Go to athleticsurveys.com. They're going to create a custom survey that lets you hear from not just the complainers, but from the 98% that support your program. And having that data is incredibly valuable. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take your program from good to great. We also want to say thanks to Hometown. Hometown is still changing the game for schools with their suite of solutions that include things like digital ticketing, fee-free fundraising, athletic website construction, and a whole lot more. Whether you're an AD or a principal, Hometown makes it easy for you to save time, raise more money, and bring your community together. That's hometown.com. We also want to thank Athletic Surveys, along with Vital Signs Wall of Fame. If you're looking for a really cool way to display your school record boards, go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Take a look at their interactive touchscreen video consoles. You put one of these units in your gym lobby or your main school hallway, it's going to be like a magnet for kids, for coaches. How about sponsors? Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. Check out their great products today. We also want to thank Ohio University and their online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. And here's the cool thing. While they were earning their master's, they also completed 11 NIAAA leadership training courses at no extra charge. Go to Ohio University and check out their online masters in athletic administration. We'd like to say thanks to Home Campus. Home Campus is the official high school sports administration platform for a number of states, thousands of ADs, and even if your school has a different platform or your state has a different platform, you can be a home campus school. I'm telling you, their athletic clearance and eligibilities platform alone is worth the price of admission. It's a game changer. Go to homecampus.com and don't forget to mention the podcast. We'd like to say thanks to Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. You've heard me say before, probably one of the best purchases I ever made was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. Go to sidelineinteractive.com. Check out all their great products. That's sidelineinteractive.com. We want to say thanks to our friends at Huddle. As a football coach, I used Huddle for years. As an AD, I made sure we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com and join the 8 million users and find out how to turn your school into a Huddle school. We want to say thanks to our friends at Snap Mobile, particularly Snap Raise. If you've ever spent weeks and weeks with a fundraiser and been disappointed in the results, well, you need to check out Snap Raise. We used it at our school with great success, and so will you. Go to the Snap Raise website and check out their other great features. But if you're looking for a fundraiser, you just found it, and it's Snap Raise. And we want to say thank you to Gipper. Your school is doing great work. Your athletic department is doing great work, and you deserve to have it known. Go to Gipper.com and let their team help you turn your program into a social media hotspot. Gipper ensures all your content is made with official logos and colors, no matter who's creating it. You can post text, images, video, and graphics, unlimited to social media accounts. You can also create newsletters that look professional and match your visual identity. You'll find it all at Gipper.com. And by the way, it's so easy, even I can use it. That's Gipper.com. And as always, don't forget to mention the podcast. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Regular listeners will certainly recognize the name Dr. Patty Raube Keller. If you are new to the podcast, go back to our archives. Check out her interview from a few years ago. She's been a regular on our Wednesday Wisdom team, has a tremendous background in sport. She was a college athlete, college coach. She was an athletic director. She is currently the director of the sport management degree program at a place called Boston College. And she's going to be talking today about her experience, not as a college professor, which she is, but her perspective and experience as a mom of a student athlete who is now on kind of the recruiting trail. And I know as coaches and as ADs, we always, we have that one parent, could be a dad, could be a mom, that thinks they know everything. Well, here's a case of a parent who kind of does know everything from a lot of different angles. So, Dr. Patty Raube Keller, Patty, welcome back to Wednesday Wisdom.
Thanks, Jake, for having me on. And yeah, I'm not a parent. Most parents, most coaches just think I'm some crazy mom because they don't know my background, and I know more than they do. So, and my husband, to boot, was a Division I football coach for a very long time. So both of us combined know more than most of the high school coaches and honestly the young college coaches we're dealing with on a basis here. So it's I have to be careful what I say, and honestly, I've tried to link in with coaches or even just send them my resume before I talk to them so they know where I'm coming from. I'm not trying to be a jerk, or a lot of times, because I think it's so innate in me to be that mentor. I'm trying to mentor some of these coaches that are dealing with my daughter because you see them struggling and I'm watching them struggle. I'm like, oh my, and it's so hard to keep your mouth shut as the parent where I want to step in and be the AD again and be the assistant AD and be like, hey, you're struggling with substitute management. You're struggling dealing with that parent. That girl has an attitude problem. You need to shut that down. Like it's very hard. And my husband and I actually try very hard actually not to sit by the other parents, because we have a very lens is probably more critical. And I think some people think we're Debbie Downers, but we're coming it from like an evaluation role of what we've been doing for years. So him and I talk about it. We don't talk about it in front of Dana, but it's hard to just sit there and keep your mouth shut, especially with the experiences that we have. And then, you know, coaches are, especially these club coaches, and my daughter's high school coach, they struggle, right? They're not the best in the business. They're doing it because they absolutely love the girls. And that's always my first thought when I think about it is remember they love these girls and they're really just trying to help these kids be better and they're not trying to hurt them. I mean, I would 99% of coaches are like that. There are 1% of coaches that are just not in it for the right reasons. But I think that's something as a parent that, you know, our daughter's going to be a junior. She's the starting setter at our high school. She's actually a year younger than her classmates. She should be a sophomore. Um, she has a very high volleyball IQ. She plays volleyball. The refs even know it. They see it. They talk to her. They're funny because they talk with her. Um, she's the one telling the girls where to go in the rotation. She's the one telling the girl that when it's her turn to serve, just get the point. Don't try to jump serve it and kill it. Like we need the point, things like that. She's the one talking down the girls when they have a bad play and say, move on, next play. Like you see that. You don't see the coaches doing it. You see my kid do it, where I would like to see some of these coaches doing that a little bit more. But Dana's lived in the gym with us her entire life. She was our foster kid. She's been with us since she's 4 years old. I think the third day we had her, I put her in a soccer camp because I didn't have daycare. It's just to go play soccer. And you know, she's been playing soccer and volleyball. Now she's reffing soccer. She plays Special Olympics allied soccer too. So one of the things is Dana's good, but she's not Division I good. Like we know that, right? And we're honest with Dana, and we've sent her to the Boston College camp where I work, and she's been the Dartmouth camp in Providence, and she's going, Mom, these girls are insane, right? And you know, and these are girls that are BC, Providence, and Dartmouth. They're not Kentucky, Louisville, and USC, right? So they're even 10 times better. So we have a very realistic view of she's going to probably play D2 or D3 volleyball. And, you know, we're looking at those schools. One of the amazing things of working at Boston College, you do get tuition for free, not housing. So Dana could go there. And that's a conversation we've had to have with Dana. Like, do you want to go to BC and maybe just play club? And our volleyball coach, I know they love Dana. She's been going to their camps for years. My kid is a kid that always playing with a smile on her face and just very positive. And she's a kid that will dive for the ball and do things that other kids are not willing to do. She's the one picking up all the balls and moving the cones and all that kind of stuff. And now right now in the NCAA, they just changed the game, right? In the past, we just thought she'd just be on the team. She probably never traveled the team, and she suit up and she'd be the best girl cheerleader going all ace all the time. But now, they're only allowed 18 girls. So, the conversation is the compliance office is even looking into us. Can she be the 19th girl? Because she's on my tuition, not the athletic department's tuition. So we're looking at that. But, the conversation at our dinner table is like, okay. I was a D3 athlete. I was a goalkeeper. Either as a goalkeeper, either you play or you don't. So that's why I went D3. I played all 4 years. I started all 4 years as a goalkeeper. I probably could have worked my way into the starting lineup as a sophomore, as a junior, Division 2 or Division 1, but I really just wanted to play. I knew, back then no one was going pro in soccer. So,
Right.
but Dana's not going to go pro in volleyball. She wants to be a nurse. And that's another difficult major. One of the hardest majors to do as a student athlete is nursing. So, the conversations we're even having with the coaches that we're talking to right now is, how do you work with the nursing majors? Do you let them do it? Some, even D2 and D3 are looking at us like we're nuts. Like, no, we don't do that. And some schools, that's their niche, right? We've looked at the school, it's a Division 2 Catholic university. Nursing is like their best major. They're like, no, we actually really work with the athletes because a lot of them come here because of the nursing major. They're not coming here to play sports. They're not coming here because of school. It's because of the nursing degree. So we know that's our bread and butter, right? Let's work with the
Mhm.
nursing students who actually come to our school and play because of that. So that they're the conversations we're having with coaches, and we're looking like, how many setters do they have on the team right now? Dana's gonna be class of 2027, right? Do they have athletes that are graduating, setters that are graduating 2027? Do they have 5 setters on the team? Dana's this past club season, she had 3 setters on her club team. Well, the other 2 girls could only set. They literally could not play any other position. So Dana can play everywhere. I mean, you can even put her in middle at 5'7", and she can jump pretty high and she can get it done. So that coach had her playing everywhere, right? So, but she wants to set, and that's what she's really good at. So, those are the kind of conversations that we're having with these coaches. But the other thing is we have to pursue them. We're making the video, we're doing the emails and setting up the visits and stuff. You have to market your kids sometimes to get them out there. Like, unfortunately, Dana plays at a very small Catholic school, and they're good at volleyball. There's 3 strong players on the team, and the other ones are kind of just there. They're cones. They really are. They're nice girls, and a lot of them just play 3 sports, and they don't play club, and they're just not very good, right? So Dana's not getting, their team's not winning like they should be. Dana, another teammate, honestly really carried the team, and Dana does a lot of running around and not really getting great passes to set. And then when she is setting to the girls, they're not very good hitters. So they're not, making the connection. And then because of where we live, and I work at Boston College, I live an hour away. So she's at a club that's average, right? She's on the 17 national. That's the highest she can be. The coach is a D3 coach. We're very excited about that. She's looking forward to having a coach that's honestly really holds the girls accountable, doesn't put up with parent drama. There's a lot of influences with club sports, whose parent knows who's paying money. It's crazy. The club sports scene is a little bit crazy. I don't think it's an equal playing field. I don't think your best players are playing on the team. How they do tryouts is insane. They have like 500 girls come for a gym for 2 hours, and they pick the best 20 girls. That's no way to do a tryout. So, there's a lot of it that goes along as being a parent. And then just, you know, Dana this summer was at 5 volleyball camps. She volunteers at the library. She went to an academic camp for a week at Northwestern. And, we're trying to give her some downtime. She's got summer reading. She's in a very high academic achieving high school. So, letting her be a kid, and, she's just turned 16, and things like that. And when school starts, she volunteers a lot, and she's in school, she's in AP everything, and just balancing all that and sports, and so watching her mental health and making sure that she's getting a break, and she's able to just go hang out with her friends and go see a movie or go walk around the mall and shop, right? All those things are important to kids, and and growing up and stuff, that we don't want to burn her out, but she also knows that volleyball is a part of her, and it's kind of part of her identity. And I think, looming towards high school graduation, some kids do make the decision that they don't want that sport as their identity anymore. And it's not necessarily that they're not good at it. Some of the best athletes stop playing, right? Some of the worst athletes keep playing because they just love it so much and it's a driver for them. So that's something I think, sports are important. They really help shape students who they are. But I think it's as a parent, we also have a job to make sure they're filling all their buckets. So, and making sure some of their buckets aren't overflowing and that they are getting a break too.
No, boy, you hit on so many great points there. The one I want to come back to, as an AD, I would frequently see well-meaning parents were doing all of those things, taking their kids to camps and doing all that, private coaches, all that stuff. But the kid, they had more passion for the sport than their kid did. And I think it's something that we just need to help parents get through and recognize if their kid loves the sport, hey, absolutely, let's do everything we can to help them. You also talked about, that relationship between parent and coach. And, the old days when I was in high school 100 years ago, where the parents, for the most part, I think stayed in their lane. That just doesn't happen anymore, even with good parents, even those parents that get it. They're going to want that. Hey, coach, you got a second? And we just have to help our coaches and our EDs, navigate that. And you certainly talked about that initially. You're actually training that the next generation of coaches and leaders and athletic directors. Let's go and talk a little bit about that. Let's take a hard left turn. Um, for one of our listeners right now, an AD, a coach who is maybe thinking about, improving their degree background, what does Boston College's programs have to offer them?
Sure. Well, we have, if you are looking for your master's degree, a master's in sports administration. We're very unique than all our faculty work in the sports industry. None of them are full-time faculty. They are an expert in the class they teach. So if they're the person's teaching sports marketing at BC, it's Jamie D. Loretto, who's our senior associate athletic director of Boston College, who manages all of our external, so sports marketing, ticketing, sales, revenue generation stuff. He's been doing it for 32 years. He's probably one of the best in the business, right? We have a sports security class that's taught by former FBI agent. They handled the Boston Marathon bombing, and now he handles all the sports security for the Detroit sports properties. And I don't know how many other schools even have a class like this. What our students are learning in this class is getting them jobs, right? If you're looking like to go on, I know Jake, you're more like a high school athletic director, right? We have classes in name, image, and likeness now. This is trickled down to high school, right? My daughter is Native American, for example. Nike has an N7 line that's a Native American line, right? I run her Instagram. You can check her out, Dana Howling Wolf Keller. We're setting her up so if she does get that college thing, that she's N7 is something that she's bought, purchased, and worn. You can see the history of that. And some other things that she might be posting on there. There's a couple brands that are Native American woman fashion brands that Dana wears, things like that you want that authenticity. Like, I was just talking to a bunch of girls, high school hockey players, and I said to them, what shoe do you all have on? And they literally all had Birkenstocks on, right? And these are 16, 17-year-olds, right? And I said, all right, I would start posting that you guys wear Birkenstocks all the time because when you go to college, you could get a deal with Birkenstocks as name, image, and likeness, right? Because you have that authentic passion for that brand and you wear it, right? And some of those girls might be really social media savvy and can really do their Instagram posts and TikTok videos and all that kind of stuff. But one of the kids here at Boston College, he's a football player. He loves pancakes. And they did a deal with IHOP and pancakes, right? So those are the things that I think, if your high school athletics department can be not only for your student athletes, but are you working in your local community with the products that you use, right? Are you using a certain type of fencing at your school? Like say you use Miller Fence, right? Well, go to Miller Fence and say, can you advertise with us? We use your fencing. You've done a great job. We're a perfect example of what, put Miller Fencing. And those are things I think you're going to learn in our way of revenue generation and branding and sports branding and name and likeness and some of our classes that I think is going to really open your eyes at what some people think we're kind of college focused, but a high school needs to make their own money and generate their own money now. And a lot of things that colleges are doing, high schools can mimic really well to generate money. You think about like hometown ticketing, right? They didn't exist before COVID, and now you're buying your tickets online and it's a company, right? And I know you use the Gipper, like the social media stuff, all those kinds of things. Like these are services that you use to help manage and run your athletics department. So what think about like when I worked at University of Mary in North Dakota, we used cars from a used car dealer. We weren't going big. We were going to GMC and Ford. We were a D2 school. We went to the local used car dealer and said, we need a fleet of recruiting cars, and they became our car sponsor, right? So there's a lot of things that I think you're going to learn, and it's having these conversations with other people in your program too that you're going to learn too, just from your classmates, if not from your faculty, that you're going to learn to help run your athletic department. And we have like a coaching for performance class, a leadership class, applied goal achievement theory, things like that. Like you're going to learn a lot about yourself. I think your leadership skills, communication, all those kinds of things are very important to be an athletic director, right? You're gonna have to maneuver in rooms and be one way and then be a different way with maybe with your football coach or with a parent and things like that. That's something I've had to learn. Like I'm used to working with these tough football coaches, but now I work in academia and I can't be the person I was on the field with them as I can be with the associate provost of Boston College. I kind of have to tone it down a little bit and maybe not be so honest. Like, so that's something too, I think you learn in our program is you learn really about who you are, right?
Right.
And your weaknesses and your strengths and how you can build up your weaknesses and how you can use your strengths to your advantage. And I think another thing is one of the things that I've learned is I'm really good at detecting other people's weaknesses and strengths. And that's something that if you're an AD, you're going to be working with your coaches and you're going to have to, start doing evaluations and talking to them about, all right, these are your weaknesses and your strengths, but how do you help them shine, right? And how do you help them
Mhm.
build up those weaknesses and the strengths? And how do you really get them to really use the strengths as a catalyst to help them? So those are all the things that, you can learn in our program because you're working with some amazing people in the industry. And we just added a master's in sport analytics and, data driven decisions are the way everything is going. It's not just data and player performance, it's who's watching women's sports, right? Women's sports are being watched at a huge rate. If you look at social media in the comments, a lot of men don't think so, but they are. The data is showing that people are watching, investing in women's sports, but the brands aren't, right? So you think about I'll say it, like tampons. Every woman uses a tampon or a pad. Why are they not advertising with some of our women's sports teams, right? Most women are the ones buying the household products, making decisions in the house. So if you're looking at at products that women buy, you might want to look at that. So that's another thing, even too with fundraising. I manage our budget in our house. A lot of women do. Who's writing that check? So when you're doing those fundraising, maybe you don't do the golf tournament because I'm going to tell you, even though everyone's pushing people to play golf. A lot of women don't play golf. Maybe you do a purse fundraiser and you work with all the different salons and nail places in the area and you do something more woman-esque. You might get a different genre of people coming and spending their money. So I think that's something that you'll learn, especially because our faculty in our program, half our faculty are women as they are men, and half our students are women as they are men, that you learn a lot of different things because you're with a diverse group of people.
Well, again, a ton of great points. Talking about the program, there's a generation and even a generation that followed me of athletic directors that when we were doing our bachelor's and master's, you didn't have coursework on NIL, obviously, or security, and a lot of times not even fundraising. So these are tools, if you will, that you can immediately put to use as a leader, whether you're at the high school or college level. I love that security course. And talking about NIL, I just did an interview with a woman. It's going to start airing, I think not this week, but next week. She was a D1 beach volleyball player at Arizona State. As an undergrad, she started her own, long story short, NIL program for herself. She was the highest compensated Olympic sport athlete at Arizona State as a beach volleyball player, just with local sponsorships, as you talked about. You know, one of her biggest ones was the bank. She started her own company. It's called Volleyball America. It's a clothing line. She's just an incredible example of that entrepreneurial spirit. She also got her master's at Arizona State. So, anyway, yeah, if you're a listener and you're looking to improve yourself, let's go and cut to the chase. Patty, if they want to find out more about the Boston College program, or if they want to connect with you and add you to their network. And listeners, Dr. Patty Raube Keller is a tremendous resource. How do they do both of those?
Sure. I mean, I'm on LinkedIn, so it's Dr. Patty Robbie Keller, and just link in with me, connect with me. My email is raubekel at bc.edu, or if you just Google Boston College Masters in Sports Administration Program Director, Patty Robbie Keller, it'll come up. I'm there. I think one of the unique things about being the program director, I talk to almost every one of our potential students. I tell the students all the time, I'm your cruise director. I'm with you from start to finish. And even as you graduate, I'm not sitting in this high office away from our students. I'm on the ground with our students. I'm the one that's advising you, doing all that kind of stuff, and very involved with our students.
And we've had a number of your former students on the podcast as guests, and they've been great guests, and they're doing great in their careers too because of their, in part, their masters from Boston College. Patty, always a pleasure to catch up with you. Thanks for taking some time out of your schedule. I know it's incredibly busy. All the best moving forward, and we'll look forward to connecting, hopefully in person somewhere down the road.
Thanks, Jake.
For listeners, we want to say thanks to you and just remind you that we upload the Zoom recordings of all of our interviews to the Educational AD Podcast YouTube channel. We do Wednesday Wisdom just about every week and just about every day. We try to share stories and best practices from the world of athletics. So come back and join us again on the next episode of Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast. Hey, before we go, of course, we want to give a shout out once again to our great sponsors. I'm telling you, go and visit these sponsors. I used them as an AD. They're all great companies. Let's say thanks to Gipper. As a old athletic director, I was hesitant to jump into the whole social media thing, but Gipper made it incredibly easy, and the payoff, you just can't put a price on it. Go to Gipper.com. I want to thank Vital Signs Wall of Fame. Just far and away the coolest way ever to display your school record boards or your Hall of Fame. Go to vitalsignswalloffame.com. I've said it before. If you're looking for a fundraiser, you found it. It's Snap Raise. Check out their other great platforms. Go to snapraise.com. Huddle. As a football coach, I used it. As an AD, we were a Huddle school. Go to huddle.com for more information. Athletic surveys. At my school, we did surveys for everything. Go to athleticsurveys.com. Let them help you take the pulse of everybody in your program. Sideline Interactive, indoor score tables and video boards. Again, you've heard me say the best purchase I ever made as an AD was our Sideline Interactive indoor score table. That's sidelineinteractive.com. Home Campus. It's a platform you're going to use every single day, and their scheduling, their athletic eligibility, tracker alone is a game changer. You got to check out homecampus.com. Ohio University's online masters in athletic administration. My assistant AD, along with thousands of others, got his master's through the Ohio program. Check out Ohio University. And Hometown. It's more than just digital ticketing, but it's the number one platform for that. Go to hometown.com to get started. Thanks again for listening. We'll see you next time on Wednesday Wisdom on the Educational AD Podcast.